The most terrifying job in ancient Europe. Imagine waking up before dawn, pulling on worn leather sandals, and heading into the dark belly of a city that does not want to acknowledge your existence. No one greets you. No one shakes your hand. Children are pulled away from your path as you walk down the street, and even the dogs seem to sense that something about you belongs to a different world, a world beneath the one that ordinary people inhabit. This was the daily reality of the gong farmer, arguably the most terrifying, degrading, and dangerous job that ancient and medieval Europe ever produced. And yet, without these men, civilization as the Romans, Saxons, and medieval English knew it would have drowned in its own filth. Let's set the scene properly, because history books tend to gloss over the unglamorous realities that kept great empires functioning. While philosophers debated the nature of the soul in Athens, while Roman senators argued the fate of conquered nations, while cathedral spires rose above medieval cities, someone had to descend into the cesspits. Someone had to go where no one else dared, armed with nothing more than a wooden shovel, a leather bucket, and an almost supernatural tolerance for the worst conditions a human body can endure. Gong farmers, also called nightmen, were only permitted to work at night, and their task was to dig out and carry away all of the human waste accumulated in the cesspits beneath cities. Think about that for a moment. Not only was the job itself an act of physical endurance bordering on torture, but it was also shrouded in darkness, both literally and socially. These workers operated in the dead of night, invisible to the society they kept alive, spending entire nights in deep holes up to their waist, or even their neck, in human excrement. Some died of disease, others suffocated. The scale of the problem they were managing was almost incomprehensible. Parts of London in the 14th century had only 16 latrines per 30,000 people, which meant the cesspits beneath those communal latrines were constantly overflowing with the biological waste of thousands of human beings. The gong farmers descended into these pits armed with tools that had barely evolved since Roman times, scooping the accumulated filth of entire neighborhoods into carts that would haul it to the edges of the city. They were paid per ton of removal, charging local councils around 2 shillings per ton, which sounds like it might at least offer some financial compensation, until you consider that the work rotted a man's lungs, peeled the skin from his hands, and could kill him silently with toxic gases before he even had time to cry out for help. But the terror of this profession wasn't only physical. These workers embodied the pollution that society sought to contain, marking them as necessary pariahs. They were essential to the survival of their communities, yet they were treated as social untouchables. The moment a gong farmer walked through a market or attempted to enter a tavern, the reaction of those around him told the whole story. Their presence was tolerated only in the darkness, only at the margins, only when no respectable citizen had to witness what it truly took to keep the streets clean. Even after washing, which itself was a luxury in medieval Europe, the smell clung to them like a second skin, a permanent mark of their station. Civilizations are remembered for their monuments and philosophies, yet the endurance of the miserable sustained them. Cities could not function without sewage removal. The Roman Empire, celebrated for its aqueducts and forums, also produced sewer cleaners who navigated the vast Cloaca Maxima, scraping blockages from tunnels where collapse, drowning, and suffocation were constant threats. The job was so dangerous, so psychologically crushing, and so socially stigmatized that it fits into a category historians describe as the labor of the damned, work that was indispensable to civilization, yet deliberately forgotten by the civilization it served. And here lies the real horror at the heart of this story. It wasn't just the filth, the darkness, or the risk of a collapsed cesspit burying a man alive. It was the invisibility. Their anonymity was deliberate. Society preferred to forget the hands that held its foundation steady. The gong farmer didn't get a monument. He didn't get a name carved into stone. He got a wooden bucket and a nighttime curfew that ensured no one would have to look him in the eye while doing his work. The history of ancient Europe is filled with impressive titles: senators, centurions, knights, bishops. But underneath all of that grandeur, in the literal dark underground of the cities, Men descended into pits of waste so that the great world above them could keep pretending it was clean. That, without question, is the most terrifying job ancient Europe ever produced. Not because of dragons or battles, but because of the unbearable combination of physical danger, social rejection, and the haunting knowledge that without you, everything falls apart, and nobody will ever say thank you.